Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Pat Anderson calling in from my home office in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. I'm so excited that you've taken the time to listen to our webinar tonight. Once again, it's like in the olden days, but except I get to see Dr. Ziegler instead of just talking to her on the phone. Just really quickly about me, I've been in the natural health field for a few decades now. I'm all about health naturally. That's my slogan. And, I try to stay away from the chemicals as much as possible. And so that's how I actually got to meet Noreen, was through my own company. She ended up being a distributor for me. And we developed a friendship and understanding. And she knew I had a health challenge. And she was quite amazed at how the Moringa product changed my life. And that's when she really started looking at Zija and the Moringa product. So, Noreen, I'm excited about this call tonight. We get to talk about humans. And because you're a veterinarian, we get to talk about the animals tonight. So welcome to the call.
Thanks, Pat. It's a pleasure. This could also be a webinar on getting out of your comfort zone, because this is not comfortable. I'd rather be doing acupuncture on a horse or surgery on a dog or visiting one-on-one with someone on their health issues. But for the greater good, here we are.
Well, you've been a wealth of knowledge in both the human and the animal part for us for, what, over 9 years now. And so it's been a pleasure being your partner in crime in this journey. And, I know the team appreciates all the time that you spend helping us better our knowledge. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Pat. Thanks for this invitation tonight. I'm excited to share some information with our listeners and watchers, and I think we'll enjoy doing it. So thank you.
Excellent. Well, so just, a little bit of your background. I like to say this, and I know I'm going to embarrass you, but the very first thing when I met Noreen, she says, I'm a veterinarian because I really don't like working with people. And now, being in the network marketing, you get to work with people and you do a great job with it, but I'll never forget you telling me that.
Well, that's something I've always laughed about. It's somewhat true. Animals are just a real joy to work with. I've enjoyed that profession as a veterinarian for 25 years. And, there were times in that career early on that I had a lot of health issues, nothing to the degree that you've dealt with, but I think things that a lot of people can relate to. High stress job, constantly on the go, lots of inflammation in my body, headaches, poor energy, weight issues, skin issues, digestion, all of that stuff. And I learned I was open to solutions, and I learned that I was causing some of those problems. And as I learned about the value of whole foods into my diet, I started to see great improvement. So although I loved my career as a veterinarian, I wasn't willing to give that up, but I felt a calling to go on and become a certified nutritional counselor so I could work one-on-one with people with their health complaints. And so I became a certified nutritional counselor and have enjoyed that for the last 10 years. So as you know, back in Indiana, I had 2 busy practices. After a few days of working with dogs, I was anxious to get back in the office and sit with a person, and then vice versa. A few days of that, I was anxious to get back into the show barn or working on the dogs with a lot of areas of specialty, and which is how I really connected with you because of the acupuncture, the chiropractic work, the light therapy, a lot of things that you were able to help me in that area too. So, like you said, I was aware of your health challenges, and you were already doing so many good things that I was amazed when you added Moringa to that. Not just Moringa, but Zija's Moringa, which is quite unique. And I was impressed with that. And then I did more homework, research, and my practice was never the same since. And that means both practices, with the animals and with people. So very, very thankful for what Zija has brought to our lives, and very, very happy to be sharing that with anyone that's looking for solutions.
Excellent, excellent. So what was it that you noticed first with the Moringa that really intrigued you to even delve farther into, the research, et cetera, and using it on yourself and actually, trusting it enough to put your patients on it?
Well, that's a great question, because as a health professional, I had, as Dr. Ben talked about last week, it's a higher level of due diligence and research, and I had never heard of moringa, and honestly, when I initially heard about it, it sounded too good to be true. And listening to Dr. Ben Bowers last week is something everyone should do. If you haven't listened to that so far, it really, he laid a great foundation of detail. And, to have all the vitamins, water soluble, fat soluble, the antioxidants, the omega-3, 6, and 9 in the proper ratios, the minerals that we need also in the proper ratios, it all sounded too good to be true. And then as I researched more, I found antifungal properties, antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And again, as Dr. Ben so well described, it has to do with how our Zizia, the species, how it's grown, the very details that Mr. Brailsford has taken care of for us, is really what makes our product, it's just a pleasure to share with people, because it is so result-based. And so by drinking that propriety blend, I was able to simplify. I had already resolved the majority of my health issues, but it was through whole food. And that meant, for myself and suggesting to other patients, that they had to get the $300 juicer or blender and organic produce twice a day, and literally, as you know, handfuls of whole food supplements to help bring the body back to balance. We weren't, and we aren't, curing or treating anything. We are simply supplying our body with the core nutrients and letting our bodies do amazing things. I mean, it is just miracle after miracle of what our bodies are able to do if we provide it with very basics. And super mix, smart mix, plant protein, those are things that every person can consume on a daily basis, and it will provide the body with those core nutrients. And so, quite simply, check that off your list. I still have the blender. I still have and love to purchase organic produce. But as you know, I live in the Upper Peninsula now, and that's not always available like it was when I had, other, And so this is so simple, and it allowed me and it allowed my patients and my clients to simplify. Okay, so when they rip that packet open, they are getting all those nutrients. It's organic. It's just such peace of mind. And it couldn't be simpler. It tastes good. And the amazing thing, it is so easy for our bodies to absorb it and utilize it. And like I said, the results are excellent. And with people taking other moringa products, we didn't see that. I had many people say, well, I can get it cheaper. I can do that. And they didn't see the results. And so after a few months, they would come and then we would see results. Now, when do you see results? That really depends. That truly depends on your situation, a lot of other variables, even mindset. There's so many things that go into how quickly we respond to this energetic food. And that can be anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks to 3 months. But people know pretty quick that it is favorable to their body, and they enjoy it. They start to see a progression. And as you know, you and I, we've been drinking it for over 9 years, and I still continue to feel better now than I did in my 30s. I'm in my mid to late 50s and doing things that I never have done before as far as lifestyle and athletic, just bicycling has become a passion, and cross-country skiing and all these fun things that I never had the ability before. And that is not, and same with you, the active lifestyle you have, it's amazing. And we see that. We get to see that in a lot of people on a daily basis. And there's just nothing more fulfilling. than seeing that. And it is. So, I just encourage people to give it a try, and see how they feel 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days. And now you and I have had the luxury too of being able to call upon people that have been on it as long as we have, because we did start to share it. And that is really exciting. No matter what their health goals are, this is a foundation.
Well, and I think you brought up a really good point, because this is something you did in the beginning in your practice. You actually had a checklist, and you gave it to people when they started. And then, they'd come back and go, oh, I don't know if I feel any better. And you would look at that list and you would go, well, what about the headaches? Well, what about the shoulder, your knee? And they go, oh.
They forgot they hurt before. And that's a great sign. But isn't that true in life? We kind of forget what we've been through. We just want to be a little better today. And sometimes we can forget that we're feeling better and focus on the next challenging thing. But I'm here to tell you, we do better when we feel better. And I like to keep things simple. I don't want to focus on a lot of data, and I don't want to focus on roadblocks. I want to just help people feel better each day and do better each day. And, it all starts with that simple packet of daily moringa.
Oh, totally. Okay, so now I have to get the vet hat on, okay? We have so many people that contact us all the time about, oh my gosh, I put my animals on this and we got such great results. Well, you know me. I've had the animals on since day one, I think. It was like, if I'm going to take it and it's all natural, why wouldn't I give it to my horses? And, remember when I had that calf, that bull calf gonna die, and we talked about it, and I said, okay, I stuck in 3 packs of moringa into that dang calf because he wasn't sucking. I did that for 3 days, and he bounced up and became a nice, 1,000-pound steer before I hit the. Sorry, Anne. But those are the things that we see sometimes with these animals. Talk about some of your geriatric ones that I know you had in the beginning.
Well, in the beginning, I did my homework, and I had many of my humans on the products in my nutritional and my wellness office for people. And I remember the day that Crombie came in, and Crombie was a rescue little beagle, and she had a lot of problems, just lots and lots of problems, everything from skin issues and immune issues and digestive issues, arthritic issues. And the owner had a big heart, but not much money or resources. And I right away was thinking of 6 or 7 things, supplement-wise, that Crombie needed for all this list of issues. And it was just like this light bulb, and said, you know what, you've been researching moringa. It certainly won't hurt. Why don't we try, the super mix on this dog? And so, I did, and honestly, within 10 to 14 days, Crombie was feeling so much better, and all of those areas of complaint started to gradually improve. And boy, then I was on it. I like you with the horses.
Yep.
The dogs, certainly dogs and cats, and a wide range of severity. So some dogs, I had one dog that, was critically ill and could not eat and swallow and would not eat anything. So much better than the gruel that we were using. So dog food that's, specially formulated so you can squirt in the mouth with a syringe. We went to Zija's moringa and started to give that. And that golden retriever, within, I think it was probably 5-6 days, that's all the owner could get in. And it was a couple packets a day for a dog that size with that nutritional need. And to see that dog trotting up my sidewalk for a recheck was just amazing. And so that was a severe case. Not saying that the moringa cured all the problems, but that simple application of nutrition provided the needs, while the body and, we were doing a few other things to help the initial or the original issue. But that food was needed. That whole food was needed so that everything could start to progress, and it did. And then, you know, you look at all the cases. My little dog Tilly Bean and Hazelnut, they have been on as preventative. And so we sprinkle the super mix into their food on a daily basis. And so you can use it at that way, just like a lot of people. Who needs moringa? Everyone needs Zija's moringa. Whether you have a disease, a diagnosis, you're on medications, all of that, or if you just know and you've done your homework and you want to prevent, it just makes great sense. So the dogs are in that same situation, and we see so many of the same diseases now with dogs. The chronic inflammatory issues, whether it's skin issues, joint issues, heart issues, diabetes, metabolism issues. It's sad, and it's because they are suffering from poor nutrition. And so this can kind of help bridge that gap, and it should be given. You know, as far as dosing, you know, Zija's moringa is so effective, but yet so safe that we don't really have to stress over the amount. So it's a broad category. You can take a small dog or a cat and give them 1/4 teaspoon of super mix into their food once or twice a day. Add some water to that, stir it in. If it's a medium-sized dog, 1/2 teaspoon twice a day of the powder. Large dog, a teaspoon to a couple teaspoons once or twice a day. So they like it. They tend to like it. You can also, many of the dogs, after they come in for their walk, you can take that amount of moringa, put it in water, and let them lap it up. But make sure they always have their fresh, clean water that has nothing added to it, in case they don't like the super mix in that way. If they don't like it, then dump that into their next meal, and they'll certainly consume it that way. So it has been really, really fun. And now, as you know, because of my interest in Zija and all of that, Dan and I have both retired from our professions, which means I don't have the office and all of that. But boy, you know, if we can get to a lot of people this way and get that simple information in the hands of many through these sources, I think that's exciting. People can do a lot preventative-wise for themselves and for their pets simply through the daily moringa.
Oh, I agree. Like, I just can't imagine not having it on the farm here. You know, it saved me a lot of vet bills. So, you know, I joke about that. I needed to sign up all these vets because I was taking money away. But, you know, for my horses, you know, the competitive ones, you know, their stifle problems, the hocks, and, you know, it just made such a difference, just like it does with the humans, getting those 36 anti-inflammatories into them. But also on the colicking. You know, I don't have stomach issues with my horses. And so, you know, it's just what we do. The minute that they're born, they get a syringe of moringa, and people have seen my little videos showing us stick it in down their throat. But it's just part of what we do. You know, the mares always have great milk, and because they're getting it. So, you know, whatever is good for the humans, we're animals. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of variables, and so I never want to represent it as a magic bullet that you do this and you don't have to pay attention or to anything else. So good husbandry, good lifestyle choices. But here's what I have found with people, especially, is we make poor choices when we feel poor, and so by just getting that in our bodies, we make better choices and we do things better. And one good thing leads to another good thing. And that's what you see with the pets. As they feel better and the chronic inflammation is decreasing, then they too are more playful, want to go for walks, are eating better. And one good thing leads to another. So that's what I focus on. And then you start to learn more about other healthy choices. And, you know, that's why, I would love to come back and do a talk where I can really focus on you know, some of the few things our bodies need more of, the few things we need less of, and how that can really be a simple way to health, and how Zija really, you know, in the early days when we started, we had 2 products, and now we have divisions of amazing products. And the thing I like, it fits perfectly into my talk on you know, all these healthy choices. So now we have options. We don't have to go to chemicals for for ourselves, for house cleaning products, or for personal products, or for the dogs for insect repellents, or same thing for us, air fresheners, air quality, all of those things. Now Zija allows us to really give people options in all those categories. And again, one good thing leads to another. So your animals, if they're getting good nutrition, but yet they're bombarded with chemicals, you are still going to see a lot of issues, health issues. But when we can start to educate ourselves on all of these areas, it's amazing how again, all those things add up and create a lot of positive results.
Well, guess what? We're going to be doing this in another few weeks again.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll, and listeners, send us, different things that you would like us to talk about that you'd be interested in. But I love the idea of going through the household and learning what we can make and get rid of those chemicals. Because as you know, I'm in a chemical-free household. I have to be because of my health. And I love our essential oils. So, you've been using essential oils for years on the pets and the humans. So let's do a talk on that then.
Okay, very good, Pat. I would enjoy that.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm sure the listeners just absolutely loved your knowledge, and I look forward to it again. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Noreen.
Thanks, Pat.